This week's topic came from Laura, who wanted to know how to shift from annoyed to empowered. I started this week looking at the feeling of annoyed, and yesterday talked about how I shifted to finding empowerment from being annoyed. And today I'm going to focus on empowerment. Tomorrow the meditation will come out, and Friday I will get a little more poetic and a little more nerdy and make sense of the journey. So if you have a question or a topic like Laura did, comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. The question I'm starting with today is, when was a time you felt empowered? The time that comes to mind is many, many years ago. There is a cute little village in my local area that's just off the beaten path. I mean, I kid you not when I say thousands and thousands of cars pass by it every day, and most people don't even know it's there. And I recognized it as a diamond in the rough. And at the time, I'd been involved with the local chamber and done projects and things like that on the chamber. But one of the things because I felt empowered, I wanted to make it change. I really felt empowered to make it change, and I knew I could do it. But we're not telling that whole story just yet. How did I know it was better to be empowered? So I could have gotten really mad and frustrated that the people and government entities that had been around, I could have actually gotten annoyed because we're looking at the annoyed and empowered this week, that they hadn't been successful. But I couldn't do that and be successful. So I knew it was better to be empowered to ask questions. And so the next question on here is, why was it important to be empowered to make this change? And I think in some ways it was like a knowing or a calling. When you know you're just supposed to do something, and that knowing empowered me to go ask questions of, so we had a senator and, yeah. Oh my goodness, now I feel like a total goober. Oh my God, what's the other house? There's two houses. I'm totally forgetting. Anyway, so I went to both. I went to both people because they had been county supervisors before, and I'd found out that they were trying to make a change in this little diamond in the rough area, which was like an old town area, and they were unsuccessful. So I went and I asked them questions, and I found out some really interesting things. But why would this change in that village be important, or that diamond in the rough right off the beaten path? Well, because to me, going to this little town in the middle of a big city created connection. And if there was walkability and outside seating and accessibility, because a lot of the sidewalks were not wheelchair accessible, but if we could provide all of that, then more people could come to the village and they could enjoy. We had, have concerts in the park and all these great, fantastic things that they could come. We had chickens that walk around. Right now we don't. I think they're doing construction, so the chickens are not there. But, they could come enjoy nature right in the city. And I think that for me that was important because I wanted people to feel welcome and invited into the village so we could just, I don't know, more people, more fun, I guess. Yeah, I think more people, more fun, and making it easy to walk around is really important. And little did I know that later in my life I would get a disability that made it difficult to walk and do things like that. So I'm really glad that I started it then and that I recognized the need for people with disabilities also to get around. Uh, so what's the best thing I did to feel empowered? The best thing I did to feel empowered, I'm going to say that it was taking those steps. I think with each step that I took, I felt more empowered. So with each person I talked to that I let know, hey, I want to help get this going, and then they wanted to join too and help. And for me, that was so cool because they had ideas that I didn't have. They also knew people I didn't know. And without them, it wouldn't have been possible. What effort and time did I put into this project? Well, I created a survey and then I recruited people in the chamber to go around and help me. In fact, I remember this one gal, Becky, was amazing. She helped me do the survey and she put a lot of work and energy into it. And I was so grateful that she was willing to do this with me and cheer, not just cheer me on, but cheer on the village that we were going to make better. And we had to overcome, we put a lot of time. I mean, we walked that village, we talked to business owners. I think we pretty much, there's a residential area on the outside of the village. We sent them letters. We didn't survey them, but we did send them letters and we had community meetings. We put a lot of time and effort into this. And we had to overcome a lot too because the community had to trust that we would guide the upgrades. I don't know if you want to call them upgrades, but the changes in the community needed to be approved by them. So we had to overcome that. And one of the ways that we overcame that was we had community meetings so that we could make sure. So we would go to the drawing board and then we would come back to the community and we'd go to the drawing board and we come back to the community. And I think that really helped in starting to get things going and building that trust, because without that trust, we could not have succeeded in moving forward. And the next question is, what inspired me to do this? Well, I think that being empowered, so I was really ultimately empowered to connect with the community around and to maybe focus the voice, like, when you shine a bunch of different colored lights into a prism and the light that comes out the other side is white. Like, that was my only job as part of this group and this movement, was to help focus that light so that we could move forward and get done what was best for the community. So it was focusing those voices, and I felt inspired because I think it was that knowing, like I just knew that there was something that I was supposed to do. And there's yeah, and I think I was inspired because of the people who were like, yeah, this is important. So it like propelled, I already felt inspired, but on top of it, then I felt propelled because there were other people that also agreed with me that was really important. So who most benefited from me getting empowered? I am going to say the village, because they have made many improvements. This was, wow, I think this might have been 20 or so years ago that happened. And I think that they have benefited from better walkability, a continued interest in that area, and they've got some pretty cool looking restaurants now, and they have some cool I don't know if you want to call them parties, but community gatherings that get together now that are just fantastic. And I know I made an impact, number one, because I see the signs that I raised money for around the village. I see the the new buildings or the remodeled buildings that have changed, that bring life, that bring people to the village. Like that's pretty freaking amazing if you ask me. Like, who would have known? Now, I wasn't able to stay on that committee. Some obviously life, well, I don't, not obvious to you, but some life things happened and I didn't get to stick around, but it kept going. And I remember when I was setting up the group and talking to people, I said, hey, this is a long-term commitment. This isn't, just a one and done. This is something that needs to be around for a while so that we can really affect the change. And people stayed. People stayed when I had life things happen, and I'm so grateful that they did, because without their follow through, the village wouldn't have changed into what it is today. And I think that says that I think that says I'm willing to take leadership, and I'm willing to let it go. And I think that's actually really important in a leader to know, because really the leadership, like I said with the light, the leadership comes from the community. And it's a privilege and an honor to get to focus that light. And that was what I did. I focused the light, and I think that was like the most important thing I could do. And what did I see to know that I made an impact? I saw the group coming together consistently for meetings, and I saw things starting to change. And I saw dedication. I saw dedication in the people, and that was really important. And I don't think I would have seen that if we wouldn't have all become a team. It was a team effort. I might have started it, and yet it was a team effort to get it done and to get it where it is today. In fact, I'm not certain that the same people, any of the same people who were on the committee when I started it, are on the committee, and yet the committee still exists. It's become its own entity. Isn't that beautiful? Like, who would have known that it would start with something small, with, hey, I think we need to make a change, and then asking some questions, and then creating that environment that said, your voice, your voice, your voice, and your voice, and your voice, they are all important. And I want to help magnify that. And I thought that was really cool. So what do I know I can do in the future, because I know how to find empowerment? Well, I know I could do amazing things like that when the time is right and when it needs to happen. I can help bring voices together. Yeah, I think that. So the next question is, what skill would I use? And I think that skill is connecting people and bringing people together for the greater good of the community. So really focusing those voices, finding out what's most important to the community, or to the to any group or entity, and lifting everyone up together. Let's bring everybody up to that same level. And then what signs will tell me I'm on track? Well, I think that we would have a fantastic team, and we would be able to overcome obstacles together. We'd be able to brainstorm together, and we'd be able to ask questions and be willing to maybe be directed in a different way should we need to go a different way. And I think that's really important. So yeah, I think maybe I can do some things with the people around me, which is really fantastic. So if you have a topic or a question you want me to answer, please comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. See you next time.